I just want to give you a little bit, show you a little bit of how display and filter works. So you can click the X to remove items. You change column order by dragging on the hamburger. You change the column name by typing in as. So especially if you're doing like a particular type of phone, it can be really helpful to have which type of phone it is so people know. And these will change the column names, yeah. You can also sort the results. So sorting by US state, and ascending is up from lowest number 0 to 1. It's also a sort alphabetically, so A to Z, and then descending is the reverse. Something that is pretty hidden in the query builder, but is pretty common in SQL, is that you can hold down Shift-click to do an invisible sort only. So the column doesn't show up in the report, but you are sorting by that field in the report. So it's doing an order by without putting that into the select. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. That's one of the hidden features that we're working on figuring out how to make more visible. Okay. And then in filtering, you can again X out or use the hamburger, X out to remove or use the hamburger to drag. And I think Nikki showed the excluded versus required to include or exclude based on those values. There also is a little bit that you can do in SQL here. So you can create or statements. I'm not going to do an or with limit. You can create an or statement like there's a phone number or there's a congressional district for this person. You can also do an and statement with SQL for all of these filters. So ditto. Yeah, and so obviously those will get you really different results, but that's one way that you can take something that you would do in SQL and make it a little easier or reusable. Speaking of SQL, you can also write custom SQL directly into Query Builder, which can be really helpful when something isn't quite accessible in Query Builder, or if you are writing a report where you want it to be reused by people who don't know SQL. So let's say you're writing a report about phone numbers and you want to write custom SQL to get you exactly the type of phone number that you want. But then you want folks who don't know SQL to be able to edit the rest of the report. So you would do something like display custom SQL, and then I'm probably not going to do the whole thing, but you know, call us whatever. And you can add the join in as well. So you can put in the tables, and you can also write out the full SQL, and then the campaigner or whoever would be able to, you know, sort, move it around, and basically interact with it as they would the rest of a Query Builder report. Phone numbers don't match. So you have some options here so that you can create reports that go further than Query Builder will let you, but also are still usable for folks without SQL. And for filters, there are some specific things that can be helpful in that custom SQL. Yeah, so you can use where and happen. So you have in display, you have the from basic, or sorry, you have the select and you have a little bit about the from, and then in the filter you have where.
So can you explain again why this SQL expression is helpful to somebody who doesn't know SQL?
Yeah, so the SQL expression is helpful basically for you to write as part of a report that someone who doesn't know SQL can then use. So, and this is something that we're thinking about internally as well. So you have a campaigner who wants a phone banking list, and they want a particular type of phone number, right? And we already established that that particular type of phone number isn't something they can get directly from the Query Builder, but they want to, so they want to see the mobile phone, and if that's not good, then the home phone, and if that doesn't exist, then the work phone. And so instead of just saying you're out of luck, you have to have a report that's only SQL, you can say, okay, I will write the SQL for you for the phone number, and don't touch that, but you can change the order of it. You can change how it's ordered. You can move it around in the report. You can treat it like another column. So you as someone who can write SQL would be able to help someone who doesn't know how to write SQL without doing the entire report for them and having to rewrite the whole report every time they need anything changed, right? Because the alternative would be, here, let's go over here. So Sandbox is custom SQL. So the alternative would be that they, every time they want to add a new column to this, right, because this only has a couple of columns, so they want the date of the event. And then they say, oh, but I don't know how to add this date in because this is SQL and it's intimidating. And so instead you can just say, here's this little chunk of SQL, I'm going to drop it into your report, and then feel free to modify the rest of the report as needed.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. So we have another exercise, and it's organizing your list of users. This doesn't get into any of the SQL stuff that we just talked about, so it's a little more straightforward than that. But you already have that phone banking list, and you want to add an order by. So use the Query Builder to order by the users who have taken the most action. You also want to include the volunteers tags, and you want to rewrite the column headers.